All right. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome in, everybody. Let's get live on the other platforms. So we're live on Twitter, we're live on LinkedIn, and we are now live on Facebook. Welcome in, everyone. I am your host, Tanya TKO. I am a self-love specialist from TanyaTKO.com. I help you learn how to love yourselves and one another. On this channel, we use viral video topics as teachable moments for what self-love or self-abuse looks like in our lives. And we have been blessed enough to be able to have gotten an amazing specimen of a video to be able to break down piece by piece and look for the 3 trash bag pathology. So we do have a panel full of ladies here tonight. Let me just give you a quick view of what it is that we're going to be talking about. You all remember this video right here with Julius Stacks, who was the young man who screamed out N-word lover at the Pink Pill's boyfriend in a Clubhouse room, which set the internet ablaze. After that happened, we had him on the show. Pink Pill and Chris and Cynthia came up on the panel and they spoke with him. And during that conversation, he descended into a realm that provided the content for this breakdown here today. If you're not familiar with what has transpired and what has gone on, just go back 2 days inside of the videos and just look for the original interview with Julius where we talk about where we're actually going to be playing from today. And get familiar with that. This is part 2. Yesterday we came out and we spoke and we broke down the first hour of the video. And it was an epic breakdown. There were people who had breakthroughs yesterday. Listen, let me tell you something. This right here is class. We are in class right now and we have some wonderful professors on the panel. So professoresses, come forward. Cynthia, say hello. Tell people who you are, what you talk about, and what was your takeaway from yesterday's video, as well as what you're looking forward to in today's video. Come forward.
Hey everybody, I'm Sinji. On my channel, we break down just pathology so you can understand how certain mindsets lead to certain dusty behaviors. My takeaways from yesterday is that there's some instabilities in Black men. He provided an example of why I don't like having discussions with them. And I already know the second half is going to do that and more. Confirm those things and more.
All right. Thank you very much. Women's Sphere, please come forward.
Okay, thanks, Tanya. My name is Woman Sphere, previously known as Black Woman Sphere. My channel name now is the Woman Sphere Podcast. And basically on my channel, I talk about divine femininity and spirituality and connect it to the community and where that places us as Black women, because I'm a womanist. What I took away from yesterday is that Julius is the typical entitled Black man. And I'm not even going to say Black man. I'm going to say the typical entitled man that feels he has a rhetoric that's kind of like do as I say and not as I do. That's what I took away from him yesterday. So the second half, I'm looking forward to, but that's what I took away from yesterday.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Irene.
Hi, thanks for having me on today. And my name is Irene Yvette. My channel is the Radical Black Conservative. And my takeaway from yesterday was that I think there are internal ideologies that some men have, and they don't really recognize it. I really appreciate that Julius voiced so openly his thoughts, because I think it exposed something a lot of men can relate to and a lot of women know to be true, that opened up the door for us to have a conversation to really delve into this logic so that hopefully we can learn from that and correct these ideologies in ourselves if we find them inside of us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I am your host, Tanya TKO. And as you know, on this channel, we break down viral stories for the teachable lessons of self-love. And I have just been made aware of this series called Love After Lockup. So you all can expect some self-love lessons videos gained from some of the relationship dynamics that I've seen thus far, not only 2 episodes in, but it's rich with info. And speaking of rich with info, listen, we are here today because we have been given an amazing piece of content that helps us delve deep into ideologies that many Black men hold inside of them that they don't typically speak out loud. And many of us Black women, we have been gaslit for years, and we've known that this is out there. And many of us, you know how you have a feeling that something is not quite right, but you don't know what it is? Well, Julius came forward, he put his face and his name out there, and I don't want us calling him names. I don't want us attacking him. I want us to actually thank him, because it is because of him that we were able to get the content for these breakdowns so that we can see the 3 trash bag pathology live and in person and be able to do these master classes online. So if you all are feeling the content, make sure that you contribute to the Cash Apps or platforms, or subscribe. Just do something to support the content that supports you. All right. So thank you all so much. And without further ado, if you all are ready to get into it, let's get into it. Text Notification Squad, throw up your 10s. For those of you who don't know, Text Notification Squads get a special text every time I go live. The link to that is in the description. So ladies, are you ready? All right, so let's get started from around where we left off yesterday. So we're going to start at the 1 hour mark and then go down from there. Here we go.
Here is my personal opinion, but it's all different reasonings behind why one would get with the other one, why a Black man would get with a white woman, why a Black woman would get with a white man. But it's all these different reasonings, and they're based on social aspects. Based on social aspects.
The reason why Black men are getting with white women. So you said white men are getting with Black women because they want something from her. Might have heard about the fat booty. You said Black women are getting with Black women are getting with white men because they feel that he may be more stable and not going to cheat on her. So what is the reason that Black men get with white women then?
I've heard this from a Black male. They're easier to control. If you want full control over kids, get you a white woman or a Mexican. I've heard things like this. I've seen things like this, and why people get with white women. And to be honest, the households are more stable when the people make these decisions than, when I don't want to say more stable across the board, but the ones that I've seen, like, they stay together.
Who stays together?
I'm using my cousin Shada. This is the only example I have. My black cousin Shada with a white woman. She's headstrong. Shada's more. He's not outspoken or anything like that, but their relationship works. You know what I mean?
How long have they been together?
But this is like 6 years. 6 years. They don't live together though.
Wait, they're married?
And she treats my cousin like a charity case. And that's why it's like I see it for what it is. He may not know that he's getting these benefits from her, but he's getting these benefits from her. More financially responsible and all of this stuff.
Hold on. You said she treats him like a charity case. What do you mean by that?
She treats him as a charity case because he's always on the game all the time. She handles the money. You know what I'm saying? But he's still getting those benefits from this white woman that an ignorant black man, I would say, because a lot of people probably say I'm ignorant for saying this, that an ignorant black man would think to get from a white woman. Now, I don't want to dispute or say that love is not a factor in these things, but there is this social construct that is embedded in these interracial relationships and specifically with a white man with a black woman, I don't find any reason why the two should. Any reason.
Any reason why the two should what?
Be together, procreate.
The black
Historically,
woman and the
based on
white
historically and
man.
everything. Yes.
So I just want to know whether or not you've heard the data or not. Well,
No, I
before
haven't
we
heard the data. I
okay,
haven't heard data or statistics.
before we get into the data, let's just oh my gosh, let's before we get into the data,
Okay.
let's rewind a little bit. How old are you?
I'm 28.
All right, so you're 28 years old. We heard you say that you were moving your car so that your mother could get out. So you live with your mother?
I'm sorry, Tanya, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
You live with your mother?
No. I'm at her house right now.
Okay. All right. Just asking. Just asking. So the data shows that black men, white women relationships have the highest, I'm sorry, they have the highest divorce rates. Not only that, they have the highest child abandonment rates, with black men leaving, according to Cynthia G, right? Black men leave their white women more than 90% of the time with children. Leave them. The divorce rates are far greater than any other interracial couples. Black men, white women. Black women, white men have the lowest divorce rates. White men are the most powerful men in society. Asian men make more money than white men in this country. However, white men. How did the line get disconnected? All right, ladies.
Yeah, is that what happened? I was wondering what that sound was.
Yes.
I thought it was Nyla coming in.
No, disconnected. He disconnected. Thoughts so far?
Do y'all think it was somebody?
Do we think what was somebody?
How did we get disconnected?
He disconnected the phone call.
Oh, so me and Irene confused then. Oh, okay.
We're watching a replay video in the original
We
video.
thought we got disconnected.
Yo, oh my gosh. I was like, what?
No.
That did happen. I remember I was there.
No, but you all heard the long pause when I asked him if he
Girl,
lived
your
with
audio was good. It sounded like live. I was
I'm like, wait a minute. But my thoughts on Julius and everything he was saying, like I was saying yesterday, he definitely has that Tyrone spirit. He has that spirit of Black men where they have this need, because I noticed he kept using the word control. He kept using the word like, well, you can control. And I think there's a need to control. It kind of goes back to what Nyla was saying about how they turned into the oppressors. They mimicked the behavior of what was above them, but since they can't place it anywhere else, they placed it on the shoulders of Black women. And so to me, I call that the Tyrone spirit. So it's like, it kind of, I think exactly Julius has that, because I noticed that he didn't feel like there was anything different about the whole Emmett Till situation too. I thought the stream was going to start with him talking about the Emmett Till situation, but I literally laughed out loud. And I mean, I was not laughing at Emmett Till himself. I was laughing at his need to use Emmett Till and not even understanding that Emmett Till was set up by a white woman, because he came in defending the relationships between Black men and white women, but discouraging the relationships with Black women and white men. So I don't think he realized how idiotic he sounded. I don't think he really caught that. I think he really thought he was making sense which was funny. That's what was funny to me about it. But what were you going to say, Irene? I think Irene was saying something.
No, I was regrouping from thinking that something really hung up. But I do think, yeah, just kind of tying it into his whole thing about Emmett Till, which I agree kind of showed how confused he was. I kind of want to hold off because I want him to get to the point where he starts to express, kind of expounding on that Emmett Till situation and how he interprets it. But I think he was sort of in denial about reality versus his fantasy of what he thinks the results of interracial dating are. So he was getting confused about how viable the relationships are, how the homes are structured, or like Angela was saying, confusing the Emmett Till situation and kind of misinterpreting it. But I think he gets a little bit more into that later. So I kind of want to hold off and give, you a chance on the playback to catch up to the point where he kind of expounds on this thought process he's having.
Okay. And he did contact me and told me that part of the reason that what he's saying in the broadcast may not make sense to us is because those are not his thoughts. He said he's never been with a white woman. He does not desire white women. He only dates black women, and that he was pontificating how he feels black men, other black men feel. What are your thoughts on that?
I think look, Black men are walking contradictions. I really think they are, because this dude throughout here, among the many contradictions that he makes, he talks about how white men lack power. He talks about how Black men are like physically superior and all these different traits. Black men try to sit up here and they'll tell you that they're the masculine, they're the biggest threats, yet what they look for screams out, I'm a weak man. Everything that he stands for, everything that he desires shows that he is weak. You're looking for a woman that's easy to control. So these dudes, they literally look for situations that's going to help them rest in their degeneracy. This is what they do because they're so dedicated. Like they wouldn't even gravitate towards anything that would make them be better men. Like they're not going to do that. Like it makes no sense to me. You have a man sitting here like saying nothing that relates to manhood or masculinity or even being a light competitor, let alone a threat. Like they'll run around here talking about everybody's intimidated by you. How? The only thing that you represent is weakness. That's what you advertise. You advertise that you need something easy, that you don't want it to challenge you, that you want it to be quiet and docile. That means you're weak. You need the weakest form of a woman so she can accommodate your weakness. It just is what it is. And then, but yet they sit up there and this same dude said, oh, well, white men see them as better because they're able to get one of the undesirable women out of his community. This is literally their mindset. It's just delusion. And that's why you call it the 3 trash bag struggle dusty pathology, because that's literally the only way that you can describe it. He was speaking for himself.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I agree with her, actually. Because you have people like Eldridge Cleaver. You have people like David Hamel, all of these Black men that spent years of their lives pontificating, right, about interracial relationships that they had not actually engaged in. Everything from sexually violating Caucasian women to writing, book after book of fantasy love novels about it while being in exclusive relationships or marriages with Black women. And all of those men eventually moved on to a stage where they started to act on those fantasies. But simply because you're pontificating about something that you personally have not engaged in does not mean that that's not indicative of your mindset. Because as we see in these widely publicized examples of Black men doing the same thing, much of their rhetoric, which he repeated from his own mind, right? Probably never having heard of Latifere or Hamel, or even knowing the background of Cleaver, he was still speaking just like those men who also had not been with white women, but had pontificated openly about them. So I agree with Sin, that came from inside of him, and simply absolving himself by saying, well, I never did it, doesn't mean those are not his thoughts and opinions or beliefs.
And
Oh,
I
very
I
interesting.
also I also believe he dates white women too. I think he was lying. I think he was talking about himself when he talked about that 6-year relationship. I don't believe it was a cousin. I believe it was him, and I believe he was treated like a charity case. I also believe he was probably called the N word with the hard R, which is why he felt so comfortable making that statement. Because just saying you're an N lover, that doesn't come from someone who hasn't been around that terminology. Black people don't run around saying you're an N lover. Black people don't do that. They just don't. He was the one that was referred to as the end lover by that 6-year relationship. That's what that was. Because that 6-year relationship, he was the one that was treated like a charity case. His Tyrone spirit is what made that Becky treat him like a charity case. It was him.
Oh,
It was him.
interesting.
Yeah, it was him.
Interesting.
It was definitely him.
You know, I did have an epiphany, a little bit of an epiphany yesterday when we were talking, because I realized that there's so much truth to. So he basically said that it looks better to white people for a Black man to have a white woman on his arm, right? And I realized that in doing so, like from our discussion, in doing so, yes, it does quote unquote look better because it shows that he has submitted. He is submitted to the European standard of beauty. He has submitted to thinking that the white man's ice is colder. He is submitted to thinking that the white man's woman is better. It's like, how could you ever, ever, ever topple a man when in your heart, mind, and psyche, you feel that his woman is better, that his genes are better, that his genes make your children's genes better? How could you ever? All right, let's jump back into the video. So this was right after his phone got disconnected. Y'all, listen. We're gonna listen. We needed a little break. We needed a little break anyway. We needed a little break. That's fine. We needed a little break. I'm going to reach back out to you, all right? Because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. So I hear that Pink Pill is in the house and that Cynthia G is in the house. If you ladies would like to come up and ask this young man some questions, let me know. Because we're going to get him back on the line. I'm stunned by what it is that I am hearing. And I find this fascinating, and I think it's beautiful and amazing that we've had this opportunity to really dive into the mentality. And this has been great. This was all impromptu. Let's try him back again. You all heard the pause when we asked. Let's try again. Let's listen. It's ringing.
I'm sorry, the person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that...
What a guanya. Listen. All right. So listen, I don't know what the fire guan. I don't know what's going on here. What? Listen. Listen, you know what? We have so many apples that need to be read. Lord have mercy. There are so many apples. We're going to get to the apples. I'm so discombobulated. What do we do first? Do we set up to get Sin on the line? Listen, Sin, I need to send you a link. Pink Pill, let me know if you want a link, my dear, because listen, what is going on? How did we listen? You saw my hands were here. My hands did not disconnect anything. Maybe his battery died. Maybe his battery died. Listen, let me come to you. Let me come to you, Sin. Let me come to you. Because I don't know what is going on right now. Listen. You know what? Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a quick commercial break? And when we take the commercial break, we'll come back into the apples, and I'm going to get this link set up to be sent out to Cynthia and Karazin, because this is a lot right now. I where's my water? This is a lot. I was looking for my fan because I was like, what is happening? But I don't even know what happened to my fan now. Commercial. That's what we're doing. Are you tired of missing Tanya TKO's live videos? Arriving late when the video is well underway or about to end? Are you fatigued of only seeing a live video randomly while perusing YouTube and Facebook? Or worse, randomly unsubscribed? Well, now you can get a text notification whenever I go live. No longer are we dependent on the algorithm of these fickle platforms. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $4.99 a month international, you get a personalized text message 15 minutes before each live show. Now, you can show up early with the Text Squad, meet other people from all over the world, and get invited to secret broadcasts off-platform. Most importantly, support your favorite independent creator. Go to tinytko.com and click on text. Join the TKO Text Squad today. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $22 a year if you pay in advance, $4.99 a month international, $50 a year if you pay in advance, you'll never again be tardy to the party. I'll see you on the next broadcast. tinytko.com/text. All right. Okay. So we came back into the broadcast, and what we're going to do now is welcome back in, everyone. Welcome back in. That break still wasn't long enough for me because I don't know what is going on. I don't know what. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to skip forward because we're about to read the apples live on air, and then from there we're going to get Pink Pill and. Hold on. Did we even read the apples or did we call them back? Hold on. I'm going to fast forward, but it looks like we didn't read them yet. It looks like we just called him. So let's go back. Sorry. What is happening? But at least I had enough time to get the link ready for Cynthia, because I don't know what is happening right now. So listen, Cynthia, I just sent you the link. Pink Pill, I'm about to send the link to you. All right, I'm going to fast forward just a little bit because I was discombobulated. I didn't know what happened. Hold on. I think we're trying him back again. Okay, yeah, so we're dialing him. There we go.
We're going to try him back again. There you go.
Oh,
Hello?
Hi, welcome back on the air.
Hi, Tanya. I'm sorry about that. My phone had died. That pressure, it pushed all the battery charge out of my phone.
Mm-hmm. All that pressure, huh? Okay. Listen. Listen, so where were we when things got a little hairy?
No, it's not hairy.
It apparently got a little prickly and the line got disconnected, but we're back on now.
She got a shave.
I'm sorry?
Say again?
All right. So let's so listen, so
Go to a quieter area.
Crystalline is coming on and she would like to speak with you, to ask some questions, I suppose, right? So let me get this started. This is interesting. All right, give me one moment. Let me fast forward just a little bit. It's loading. Here we go. All right, here we go. Let me go a little forward. Let's give her a few moments to get her audio together. I'm stunned and stupefied right now. All right. So, give me one moment. Let me it's loading. Let me go forward a little bit more.
Before we get started, may I say something?
What is it that you'd like to say?
I would like to take a moment and apologize to Cynthia G. I know she's listening, and well, she was listening, and I did send her an email, and I want to apologize to her because she was in the back of my mind on a trigger point, and quite frankly, it was inappropriate for me to do that. I want to say really quickly why, because I know there's a lot of people listening that follow the both of us. And I want to say this. The reason why I went off was because Cynthia G has some friends, and I'm just going to go out and say it, Nyla Says and Black Woman Sphere, who have systematically lied on me, said that I was trying to tear down your platform, Cynthia.
Excuse
When,
me. So hold on,
but
Crystalline.
yeah, mhm.
Listen, you know how I feel about mentioning other platform names and all of
Well,
that
she's gonna
stuff.
be on here, right? So I
Well,
wanted to I
Cynthia,
just wanted to,
I
yeah.
sent the invitation to Cynthia, but
Okay.
now you're starting to say that there are other people who
Oh,
did
okay.
X,
I
Y,
see what you're
Z,
saying. Okay,
and et
so I
cetera, et
will.
cetera.
Okay, so
All right.
I won't. I will keep it vague. So the thing that upset me was that other people affiliated with Cynthia said things that were absolutely not true. I want to say this publicly, I support Cynthia's message. I think it's important. It meets people where they are. But I was deeply hurt when I saw her in rooms with other people who were making up things about my intentions. And she seemed, from what I read, to go along and believe them. And I was really, really hurt. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. I should have been, you know, I should have been a bigger person. Tried to reach, um, I have tried to reach Cynthia and also in the past, because I had never spoke publicly about it, to tell her that I assure you that this is not what I'm trying to do. And I never got a response. And then when I saw what it felt like,
I'm looking at the degeneration of my face. I'm just gonna keep going on because I know what I was thinking in my mind. I know what I was thinking. But ladies, hold tight. I'm gonna play some more.
she was kind of co-signing, it was deeply hurtful for me because it took me a lot to
Yeah, you know
kind
what,
of put
sis? See,
things behind. So that's it.
listen. So you know what? Listen, I am taking issue with what's happening right now because you're giving your reason based on hearsay of some alleged um, cohorting in some comments somewhere on some video with people who are not here to speak up for themselves and no video as reference. So you said that you wanted to come on because this young man was on the line.
Yeah, I
And
do, but I
now,
wanted to get that out of the way. So I did, since she's here, Cynthia, I am sorry.
oh my Lord, I know what that look. Listen, even at this very moment, I need a breather because I feel I need to just breathe a moment. I really did not like that at all.
People in the chat box are saying skip this part.
No, no. I'm sorry, no. I think that this is still part of the story. I mean, we could skip it, but all right. All right. One moment, please.
I should not have handled it in the way that I handled it. I should have been
I'm
more
sorry. I
mature
need I
and
need a
saw the bigger
moment.
picture.
Hey, Crystalline, I need a moment because I feel myself getting very agitated and I need a moment to just bring myself back down because I don't want to snap, okay? All right, give me just one moment, please. Let's quick commercial break. All right, so we're going to skip past this and then we're going to come back in. Here we go. Sorry you all for that discomfort, but that was part of the live. Let's go forward. Has anyone seen Cynthia? Because I haven't seen her, so I don't know. I don't know where she is. Let's go forward a little bit more.
Well, actually, I don't have any questions for him.
Oh, so hold on. The things, and even and despite, you know, let me go back just a tiny little bit. I just want to communicate to you. Has anyone seen Cynthia?
Let's
just play because the video's so long that I don't know where she little is. Tiny moves take you far. But I don't see her, so I don't know where she is. So I need an update on that. All right, Crystalline, we're back. Crystalline?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we're back. And so we have, I know that communication is important, right? And so I just want to communicate to you. Listen, I invited you up here because you said that you wanted to talk with the young man who was on here. I think it's inappropriate to start adding all of these names into a situation. I expressed a little bit of this before. I would really like us because you have a platform on which you can go and say, and I heard that you've been talking a lot today, actually. And one of the things, and despite, some of the things that I've heard that you've been talking about, I still invited you up here. So I would really love for you to respect and honor that, So we have this young man on the line. Did you have questions for him?
Yes, I would. I would, well, actually, I don't have any questions for him. I just wanted to, since
Hello, Julius, are you here? Why did
Yes,
I
ma'am,
have
I'm
to
still
do
here.
that? Okay, can you hear him,
yes, I can.
Crystalline? Okay.
And to be fair, Tanya, this whole live stream is about me. So I feel like I should be, and so I will say thank you for letting me on, but it's just something that I wanted to clear up because my channel right now is not available and I don't know if it's going to be back up, and I wanted to take the opportunity to say what I needed to say and be more mature. So I
Yeah, but you know
apologize
what
for
this
that.
is, but
But
you
I
know, with
would like,
thousands, yeah, but with thousands of people on here, and then you start bringing
yeah,
other stuff into the stuff that's not verifiable on the live. And once an idea is put out there, it's out there. And it's like if you're going to say that you are going to apologize for a thing, apologize because take the onus on you without now bringing 2 and 3 other people and hearsay and all this other stuff into it. It's like the thing is that we are the elders of the community, and it's like this is the way that we're showing the example for the younger people.
Tanya, I said what I said. I apologize to Sin, but we can move on to him.
I'm just letting it be known while we're up here. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I was just letting it be known while we were up here. So we have Cynthia is on, Crystalline is on, and Julius is here. So Crystalline, please, by all means, what was it that you wanted to express to the young man?
I would like to know how you came to all of the conclusions that you came to, in particular, with 2 people who you have no knowledge of. I would like to know how you came to your conclusions.
2 specific people, or 2 people that happen to be one being a black woman and another being a white man?
No, this is a live where we're talking about me and we're talking about you and what you said to Mr. E. So these are the people we're talking about.
Oh,
So
I
I'm
was
confused too. Are
speaking.
you saying the two people are you and Mr. E?
Yes.
Okay.
That's your boyfriend? That what? You said yeah?
Are you wait a minute. Oh, this is interesting. So you didn't know that?
No, you're not that important. I mean, no, I didn't know that.
I cannot with my face, Lord of mercy. Listen, we're just gonna play through this because, all right, yeah, we're gonna play through this.
You didn't know that? So
I didn't know that.
what was it about? Okay, so let me ask you, what was it about Mr. E that triggered you?
It was his hesitation to answer the question that was at hand, and I believe we got our answer, even if he didn't answer.
Okay, so his hesitation to make sure that his responses were modulated because he understands that this is a sensitive subject triggered you.
But did he continue to treat it as a sensitive subject?
No, I'm asking you a question. So can you answer my
Yeah,
question before you
yeah.
answer my question?
It really was just the idea of an interracial relationship, honestly, because I know in the back of my mind that is prevalent, and it came out.
Oh,
The
that
true nature.
okay. I actually did hear some of your recording. You said in the recording, because I heard it, that you didn't know for sure, but you're saying it probably happens. It probably happens that when white people are involved with particularly when white men are involved with Black women, you say it probably happens that they say the N-word lover to each other. Am I correct?
Given statistical data, one of them.
Oh, can you show me where those statistics are? What can you show me the link?
It gotta be.
I
I
would
mean,
love
let's
to
not
pull
act
it
like
up.
racism isn't alive and prevalent in America. Let's not act like that
No,
isn't true.
that's not what I asked you, sir. I asked you
But
something
has it?
very
You can answer
specific.
that question better than I can. Has it come up in your relationship with this white man, or no?
Actually, it didn't come up until you brought it up, sir.
Well, why is it
Congratulations.
such a big deal? Is your relationship still ongoing?
So let's talk more about you.
And it's
So,
kind of evident that it didn't come up because he still feel comfortable saying the N word. I mean, why do you think that he thinks that it's okay to say that just because he's dating a
okay.
Black woman?
Can I ask you, why do you think it's okay to say that? You said that about a woman.
I don't think it's okay to say that. I never got a chance
Oh,
to express that, but I did get a chance to see why this man was lying, and I guess.
oh, he was lying. Okay.
All right. So let's take a quick moment to introduce Cynthia G. Cynthia G, please come forward.
Hello.
All right. I just want to take a quick break and check in with the panel. I know that energy was very dense. I know. I felt it. I feel it right now. And I just want to just tell everybody in the audience to just take a deep breath in and exhale out and just kind of shake some of that off and just breathe in some sunlight and breathe out clouds and fluffiness. Speaking of which, we have the bouncy Nyla on the platform. Nyla, welcome, my dear. Come forward.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
It's a little low for me. Let me try to turn it up back here.
Nyla.
Hey, Nyla.
Hey. How's everybody doing?
Good.
We are fine. It was just an error I can't even speak no more. An aura
We
of
just went through a
denseness.
cringe moment. That's all.
Oh my
We'll be
gosh.
I came into the chat literally on the cringe moment, and I'm going to be good and skip by it for now.
We all are. We all are. But
Okay.
it was a part of what happened live, and so we played it. But Cynthia is about to come in with her lion sun energy, and we're about to get the broadcast back on track. So welcome in, Nyla. Why don't you tell everyone what your channel is, what you discuss on your channel, what was your takeaway from part 1 breakdown, and what you're looking forward to in today's?
Okay, hi everybody. I am Nyla. My channel is both Nyla Says and Nyla's Vibes, where I primarily talk about politics, occult stuff, esoteric stuff, celebrity gossip, and I do like to break down the trash bags with my sisters often. I took away from the conversation yesterday that we were looking at the perfect example of the struggle dusty, the 3 trash bag bandits, someone that is self-hating and everything that is wrong with the collective of Black men. And I think this is a perfect case study, and I'm looking forward to breaking down part 2.
All right. Thank you so much for being here with us. All right. Oh, did you want to say something, Cynthia?
Drill.
Oh, Lord. You know something? Let me go back to the broadcast. Here we go. So Cynthia is now on the live panel. So we're doing a breakdown of a video that was live for people who are just coming in right now. We are breaking down the conversation that we had with Julius, who was the guy who yelled out that Pink Pills Man was an N-word lover, which led to where it is that we are today. So we had a broadcast where he exposed a lot of the thinking that some men out there have. And so we're breaking it down piece by piece. So here we go.
Hey everyone.
Hey, Sin, how are you? How are you?
I'm good. It's interesting listening to some of the logic. I'll say that. It's really interesting to me.
Okay.
So I've been just sitting here listening, but I will say this before I start. Crystalline, if you want to have a discussion, we can have one. But I just don't think that Tanya's panel is appropriate for that. If you would feel more comfortable doing it on Tanya's panel, I think she probably wouldn't mind arranging it for a later time, but I just don't think it's appropriate now because it would take away from the discussion. Because in all honesty, I have a lot of issues with what you did because I don't think it was I don't think it was spur of the moment. I think it was very intentional. But if
It
you
was
want
spur of the moment. I don't know these people or care to know these people.
No, they're not talking about you, Julius.
well,
There's some other things
I'm
that
not
took
talking
place.
about you, but I do got some questions for you, Julius. We'll get to you in just a second. But again, if you want to have the discussion, Crystalline, we can definitely do that. I'm up for it. I just don't think that Tanya's panel is the appropriate venue because I need to focus my attention on Julius's logic because he said a lot of things that were just confusing to me. And I kind of don't understand them. So maybe Julius, if you'll help me understand, because I'm trying to understand your perspective. Now, I know that Black men have a double standard when it comes to seeing Black women with white men versus seeing Black men with white women. And see, it's not surprising to me that you think that for Black men, it's a social upgrade because a lot of Black men do, but I'm just not understanding what social upgrade do they have. So I just wanted to ask you, do you know who controls the social status in this country? Who controls it?
I don't want to answer that question, but you did bring up another question prior to that. You said you don't understand why. I mean, why do I mean, come on now, you ain't never heard of good hair and
I'm
bad
sorry,
hair?
Julius.
You ain't never heard of good hair and bad hair?
Hold
Julius,
on.
I'm asking you a direct question. Could you please answer it? Could you please tell me who determines social status in this country?
If I had to guess, because it's coming from somewhere.
So let me rephrase it. Who in this country, what group of people in this country determines whether somebody is like on the bottom of the social totem pole, whether they
The boule, oppressed?
Hollywood. The boule is
Boule,
made up of
Hollywood,
who?
basically.
Right.
Okay.
The boule is made up of who? Who's in the boule?
Hollywood.
Right, but Hollywood is a location. I'm asking you about the people because I was just in Hollywood a couple weeks ago. I promise you it's a location. Who within the
Look,
location in the
you
boule,
can't
who
specify on
determines?
who is pushing this agenda. You cannot specify who is pushing this
I'm
agenda,
not
but
I'm
you
not
know what's
asking you,
socially acceptable and
Julius.
what's not.
Julius. Julius. I'm
Okay, I want to pause it right here real quick because I am personally confused. Why did things begin to degenerate so quickly?
Because when you're talking to a struggle banded Dusty, like these people lack intellect. I was so frustrated at this part of the conversation. I didn't know what to do. I didn't get a chance to hear it all in totality, but I remember being there for this part, and I was so happy that Sin said Hollywood was a location. And she promised that it was. As a matter of fact, I think I'm like about 15 minutes from Hollywood right now. But yeah, like that was just an unnecessary segue within the conversation. He's on some fake esoteric stuff. Like he's watched way too many episodes of some struggle YouTuber talking about, you know, the Illuminati or whatever. And like, if you can't even handle regular, common, everyday logic and have regular, normal social etiquette, I don't even know why he's even talking about this. But I was assuming that he brought in the boule as a part of not necessarily the explanation that Crystalline gave, which is the common understanding, which I would say, you know, blue pill logic or whatever, but the right logic per se, you know, for general population. But when he was talking about boule, what he was talking about was a secret society kind of thing, establishment, elite, whatever you want to call it. But it still did not make his point. So I was really frustrated that he brought that in, and I'm really frustrated with bubblegum psychologist. I really am.
All right, let's keep going.
Can somebody ask him though
Oh, okay, sorry.
who the boule are? Do you know who
right.
the
That's
boule are?
he won't say.
I would just, can I ask him what's the definition to you of boule?
I mean, we're not gonna go crazy like this. Come on, y'all know who the boule is. Y'all know who the people
I never
really
heard.
run this.
I have personally
Julius,
never
we
heard of the
don't.
boule. I've never
I've
heard of
Okay.
it.
never
There's
heard of it
gatekeepers.
either. I've never heard of it either.
This is,
popular?
you guys, this is
Who makes
really
things popular?
important. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is really important. Can you please give a definition? You don't have to say who they are, but can you please give the definition of boule as you understand it?
Okay. The ones who deem things socially acceptable is the ones who says or who determines things that what's going to sell or not.
What do
So
they look
if you
like,
want to
Julius?
get technical, they're white
Julius.
people. They're white men. Okay, they're white
Exactly,
men.
white men. Exactly. Thank you. We all knew that. I don't know why you had to take the long-winded route when we all know that
Because
it's
you
white
don't
men.
really
Why
understand. You
why
don't
was it
know. You really don't
Julius?
know. That's not facts that I can prove.
Julius, we do know. Why was it so hard for you to say white men?
Because you're not going to trap me and bait me into a language game. You don't have to specify on who it really is.
Julius,
you don't know.
Julius, I'm not trying to trap you anywhere. I told you I'm just simply trying to understand your belief system.
It ain't niggas. I mean, it ain't black people. You know, it ain't black people who determines what's popular or what's going to sell or not. They'll be used for it.
Right, exactly. So, Julius, why couldn't you just say that? If you know it's not black people and you knew it was white men, why couldn't you just say it?
Stop.
Why couldn't you just say white men?
All right, we got that. Now,
okay, exactly. What's the concept? Okay, so now that we know that white men determine social status,
primarily.
Oh, okay. Who does it? Who determines it secondarily?
The consumers, because if they choose not to buy it, it will not be hot. Primarily white men.
Wait, hold on. What does consumerism have to do with one's social position?
Yeah, did anybody get the answer to that? I'm confused personally.
I'm confused too. I was sitting here cross-eyed, confused. Like
I'm
mean,
thinking about the Tyrone spectrum.
I mean, yeah, the Tyrone spectrum is real right now because when he initially said the Boulets, I was thinking, is he talking about ancient Greece or is he talking about the Athens or like where is he going with this conversation? I didn't understand why it was prevalent to what was being said. I was a little confused why he brought up the Boulets. I
I've
was
been
like,
most of my time confused. Like most of my
I
time.
think that I think that when he brought up the boule, he actually was trying to have a point in a conversation that wasn't relevant. So I think that what he was trying to say was that basically the establishment is deciding what what the cultural norms are and social norms and stuff like that. I guess that's what he was trying to say. But instead of just saying that, he introduced the boule. I think again, this is that faux intellectual flex that people do where they introduce concepts into a conversation and it doesn't necessarily have to be there. It's a simple answer, but they make it into something bigger. You know what I mean?
yeah, I do know what you mean, and I'm so thankful that you said that because people love to label you as pro-black, and it's like it's a very limited understanding. And I was so lost at the Bule part. I was like literally lost. I was like, now why would he bring that up? I was like, no, why would he? Everything he said went against what he was trying to say. I
He
mean,
was
he
trying to
literally.
hide.
It was
He was
weird.
trying to hide. He was hiding. He was trying to hide behind. He was trying to hide the boule behind them trash bags, girl. That's all.
I was
He
like,
was
dude,
just
you
trying to
literally.
hide.
It was like Nyla. It's like he was saying stuff and then going against what he was actually saying. The Tyrone spectrum is real, y'all. It's just like I'm so happy Nyla just said that because that pretty much summarized what I was trying to say. Because as soon as he brought up the boulets, I was like, well, which ones? Well, what? That's like, what is he talking about? Why do that have anything to do with? I was lost, y'all, child. All right, I'm on mute.
All right, let's continue going forward.
What does consumerism have to
What
do
are
with
you
that?
serious? We live in a
Yes,
capitalistic
I
society.
know
Hold on.
exactly.
You
I
sell
just,
your
I
look.
just,
So
hold on. I just want to interrupt right here. Julius, we're all friends here. No one is upset with you. We're all friends. Cynthia's asking you questions because she's curious and we're having a conversation.
Okay.
We're all
All right, I got you. I
friends.
got you. I'm not getting this.
Can
Okay.
Okay.
yeah,
Tanya,
you
So
if
let
I
me
you
let
go
me
might,
let
ahead.
me just. All right.
Cynthia,
I
All
if
right.
don't
Let
I
me
know.
might,
let me
I
do
want
this.
to
Let me rephrase
educate.
it.
Can I just educate you really quick?
Okay. Let me
You
rephrase it.
mentioned that the Boule run, what is considered the status in society. I just want to just educate you that you might not want to use that word in the future because the Boule actually refers to alpha, kappa alpha clubs and the links and the omega
I got you.
sci-fi
The Masons.
historically black. Wait, hold on. Historically black campuses, which claims alumni from Vernon Jordan to former Governor L. Douglas, I would recommend that you read the book called People Like Us. I think that's what it's called. But the Belay are actually the black elite. So I just think maybe you should know
Okay.
what your definition of
Okay.
terms are
Okay.
before you say these things because it's weird.
Can I cut
Just
in for a
educate
second?
yourself.
Okay. Well, we got that. We got that because
Yeah, please, Nyla, please.
Okay, so I just want to know, on the surface, in her explanation, she's actually right. Okay. Most alumni of HBCUs and people who pledge into the Greek fraternity, Black fraternities, are going to be a part of the Boule, right? But her understanding of it and her definition is the blue pill understanding or very vanilla, however you want to classify it. His what he's interjecting is like what I just said earlier, where he's talking about the elite, meaning the establishment. And but even though I understand that's where he's coming from because I heard him bring up masonry or whatever. So he's fake deep, right? But he's headed in the right direction, having an understanding that there's a controlled an establishment and a controlling body, right? But what he doesn't understand is that the boule does not make the decisions, but the black boule or the black elite are mere puppets as well, led by the dominant culture. So they're not making the decisions about society. Even the Black elite are submissive to the dominant culture, and they're just basically carrying out the agenda. So he's wrong too. They're not but she's right as far as the textbook understanding and definition of what the boule is. She's absolutely right. But he's also right knowing that there's another side to that, but he's just doesn't quite have it, if you know what I mean. And that's all. I just hate to see that misrepresented. That's
No,
all.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've never heard of the boule. I went to an HBCU. I never heard of the boule. This is my first time. I still don't know how it's spelled or who they are to even look it up. I did a Google search for BOULE, but that wasn't it.
Yeah, it's definitely a real thing. People like Roland Martin are boule. Umar Johnson is boule.
Really?
Let me
What
think.
is the right
a lot
spelling?
of
Because I'm not seeing anything under BOULE.
it is BOULE, and it probably has an apostrophe. Yeah, it has a apostrophe
Over
on
the
the
E.
end.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. It's a French name.
Now I see something. All right, thank you. All right, let's jump right back in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I didn't know, and now I know. So, can we move on a little bit?
Absolutely. So, Julius, so since we know now that white men determine social status in this country,
Primarily.
how can a white woman elevate a Black man's social status when she does not have the power to do that? She can't even keep her social status from declining by being with you.
Recording stopped.
Okay. Let me say this. I can
Julius,
accurately
did you
explain that. I can accurately explain that.
Did you understand the question? No, I just want to make sure you understood.
No, matter of fact, ask it again. Go ahead.
So if we know that white men determine everyone's social status in this country, even white women's, how is it then that white women can elevate Black men's social status when she can't even keep hers from declining?
Because her position was given.
I'm sorry?
Given?
The white woman's position was given. Yes.
Given from who?
From the social, economic status.
So from white men.
And what happened?
This is what I be talking about, y'all.
Oh my gosh.
Like, seriously. This is what I be talking about. Do y'all know how much I struggled having to talk to him? Because it's like this dude is so remedial. It's like the concepts that the questions I'm asking him, they're not that hard to grasp. They're really not. And then it's like I'm having to repeat it and dumb it down a little bit for you, asking you something simple. It's like, I'm glad, Angela said the Tyrone spectrum, because he definitely on it.
Yeah, this is very frustrating. Angela, Irene, Nyla, anybody got something to say?
I'm waiting for him to have his meltdown in a couple minutes.
Lordy. All right, let's continue going forward.
When you get away from that, it's no more.
Julius, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense, because let me repeat back to you what you just said. You said that a white woman can elevate a Black man's social status because hers is given to her. That's what you said.
But the thing is, you don't understand what I'm saying in the social, their social construct.
Julius,
in that Black man, in a successful Black man's social construct, it will elevate him.
How? Elevate him to who? Who's seeing him
because
as
he
elevated?
looks better with that white woman on his arm. White billionaires and millionaires.
So you
come
so
on now.
You
why
think,
are all these athletes getting married to white women?
Julius, I'll answer your question because it's very simple in a minute. Are you trying to convince us that white men
I'm not trying
see
to
black
convince
men
anyone.
as okay? Take out convince. Are you saying that white men see black men as on a higher elevated status? So white men are going to say, as a white man, let me elevate this black man because he's with a white
It's
woman?
easier. It's easier.
That's not
It's easier.
what I'm asking you.
Judge,
Julius.
it's easier.
Julius,
Now let me say this.
Julius,
Now let me say this.
Julius, that was a yes or no question. I'm
You're
asking
not,
you,
no, no,
are
no.
you
It's
saying that
never
when
that black
white
or white. It's never
Julius,
that black or white. It's never that
it
cut and
is.
dry.
It's yes or
This
no.
is a
It's yes
social
or no.
construct.
Julius,
This is a
Julius,
social construct.
it's a
This is
social
a social
construct that white
construct
men
that has been going
control.
on way.
This is really sad. This is real sad, ladies. It's really sad. I didn't, you know what? I lived it through this. I didn't realize how sad it was until I listened through it just now. This is really sad. The devolution, devolving right before our eyes. How are you ladies feeling? Let me check in with you. Wow. That bad, huh? All right, let's jump back into it. Let's jump back in. I'm sorry. Let's go. Let's go.
Way before we were born. You
Exactly.
understand that?
And it's
Hold
I
on,
know, and it's one
hold
that
on, hold on,
it's one that white
everyone.
men
Hold on.
Come on.
Sin,
Mm-hmm.
Julius, hold on. Okay, listen. Julius, this is an amazing opportunity for all of us, right? Julius, you hear me, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is an amazing opportunity for all of us to be able to grow and expand. And in order for us to be able to really have truly deep conversation, we have to be forthright. We have to be we have to speak clearly, and we have to be open about what it is that we're saying. This is not, no one is trying to trick you, no one is trying to trip you up. We're having a conversation because we're trying to come to a level of understanding. But if you're going to pretend as if there are things that you don't know and not want to answer and try to skirt by, you don't know Cynthia G, right?
No.
Right. But you know, she's very well versed on interracial relationships, right? And so she has information and data and a perspective that I think is interesting, and I think that you may benefit from hearing. But the thing is that we have to have integrity with our conversation. And that integrity entails speaking openly. Like I have gone onto Cynthia's platform and we've had conversations about things that she and I disagreed with. And you know, I would ask questions and I would speak very openly about how it is that I feel, and I would then gain a new perspective. Are you open to hearing another person's perspective, Julius? Julius? Julius, are you open to hearing another person's
Yes.
perspective? All right, I want to pause it right there. Oh, Lord. People felt that I was coddling him. What are your thoughts, ladies?
I don't know that you were coddling him. He seemed in the beginning, he seemed very young and misinformed to me. But then when he gets in his bag, you recognize he's not so ignorant and just misinformed. Um, but he hasn't tapped into his passion yet. So in the beginning, I can see why you were trying to reach him, because even he's so sweet. He's like, yes, ma'am. And he's young and sweet, misguided, right? But young and sweet in appearance. And you almost feel kind of sorry for him. But like I said, once he gets into his bag, which he's going to do shortly, you recognize like all that sweetness just like slides off of him and he just becomes like really he starts yelling at so I don't think you were coddling him. I think based on what he presented at the time, your treatment of him made sense. But then, you know, we see we see that degrade and we see that facade fall off a little bit later, even though everybody's kind of talking calmly to him. He starts to get like, well, we know how he started to get, but we'll wait to hear it. So
Yeah.
Look at the
I
level,
don't feel
though.
like
Oh, okay, you can go ahead, Nyla.
no, go ahead, Sid.
Well, I was just going to say, look at the level of self-hatred, though, that he has to have. Because when he describes what it means for a Black man, for what he claims to be society, which we know translate into white men, to view Black men with a white woman, that tells you just how self-hating he is, though. So if he's just in proximity to the womb that gives birth to this man that he says like oppressed him, victimized him, stopped him from expressing himself as a man, for Black men, white men are the devil. They will literally say this. Yet they think it's a status upgrade. They think it looks better. They think it's more socially acceptable for a Black man not to stand by the women who have been advocating for him, who have been loyal to him, who have been putting themselves out there for him, who have basically just been tolerating everything that they throw at them. That's not a symbol of an upgrade for him, that he's, loving who he is and what he represents. Him being in proximity to the women who literally gave birth to and nurtured the mindset of those men, who taught those men to hate him, that looks better to a Black man.
Yeah.
Because white men don't think that looks better. They don't. Black men, Black men thinks it looks better.
Before I lose my train of thought, I'm gonna just say this, and it may sound harsh, but I'm saying Black men ain't never got their freedom papers. Their mentality is still on the plantation, honey. It's just, they don't have no freedom papers. They don't. To me, he sounded like a slave. And he sounded stuck in a Bucky mentality. I can almost see him, with how they made fun of us dancing across the stage, doing the little Sambo dance.
You know something?
That's the whole energy I felt. No papers, no freedom papers, none at all.
Well, you know what? That's what they say is mental slavery. But I did want to add context for everyone who is here. So I am speaking to him. All right. I saw some people who posted in the comments that Julius actually went on to some other broadcasts saying that I manipulated him. And for those of you, listen, for those of you who are in touch with your feminine energy, you know that there are ways to get what it is that you want. I am the type of person that I think about the end goal. And my goal during this broadcast was to keep Julius talking, to get him to feel comfortable enough to truly reveal what was going on in his mind. And it worked because he really did open up and he was able to provide us with this amazing content. So I am participating in a set of actions that I think many women could benefit from, and one that has led many men astray. So anyway, let's continue to go forward and listen to the rest of the broadcast.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But I'm not gonna, if she's well versed in me in the, the subject, then I'm not gonna be back to the corner with these questions to make it look like I'm ignorant or just don't know something.
Nobody knows everything. No one knows
But
everything.
Then, all right, then I should be asking some questions here.
Right, but you know what? And
I
the
want to
thing
know
is,
what this good hair stuff is about.
Right, and you know what? And the thing is,
Why this is discriminated against my entire life, Tanya?
Right. So listen.
Because of my black skin and my curly hair.
Excuse me. Listen, I need you to calm down. All right, let's move back just a little bit because I want to hear what he said. Something about his good hair. Somebody said that he said he had light skin and curly hair. So I just want to rewind just a tidbit to
I'm
hear if he's
literally dying.
what? What? Hello, Cynthia?
I'm literally dying laughing because of how remedial and emotional he is. And it's funny that they said they saw him on another panel or something, because weren't either you, Angela, or Nyla just saying yesterday that he was going to go run to the manosphere and start talking about how he was, which one of y'all
Yeah, that
said
was
that?
me. I knew he was gonna
That
do it. He
was
started
That's
Angela.
doing the whole
exactly what
full
he probably
campaign.
did. And it
Somebody,
sounds like that's
one
what
of
he did.
my subscribers said that he's called into my broadcast before. I don't recognize his voice, but they were swearing that he's called. But I wouldn't be surprised because they're weird and they stalk women's spaces. And to me, the type of energy that he gave Cynthia let me know that he knows exactly who she is.
That's why I said, Nyla,
Mm.
we about to see him doing his sambo dance, tipping in his Chelsea boots on every stage. I wouldn't be surprised if he end up over there on that Kitten Heels channel. I wouldn't be
Oh
surprised.
Lord.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Like at this point, like these men are hella embarrassing, and I'm just to be honest, like I feel sorry for anybody that's got to pick through the collective. Like seriously, it's that like I just let me just stop. Like they're just embarrassing. But yeah, he's gonna go on a world tour, Bussy popping up and down these YouTube streets all over social media.
Okay. Let's continue moving right along. Let's go forward. I'm not gonna do this with you, ladies. Not tonight. No. No. All right. So some people are saying that black men always say that they're manipulated. I think that we should definitely look up the definition of what manipulation is. Many of us use tactics of manipulation. And if you're a woman and you're not, you're missing out on one of your tools in your toolbox, my dear. You're missing out. So if I were you, I would go hone in those skills because you can get so much and get people to do so much if you just soften your voice, pump up in the front, pop on the lip gloss, and see what happens. So let's continue moving forward. Here we go. I wanted to hear that part and see. I want you all to hear and see if you heard him say anything about light skin and curly hair. What did we? Nobody knows everything. No one knows
But then, all right,
everything.
then I should be asking some questions here.
Right, but you know what? And
I
the
want to
thing
know
is,
what this good hair stuff is about.
right, and you know what? And the thing is,
Why have I been treated and discriminated against my entire life, Tanya?
right. So listen,
Because of my black skin and my curly hair.
excuse
Why?
me, listen. I need you. Okay, he said black skin and curly hair. It's black skin and
So
curly
he's a
hair.
victim of colorism. Is that what he's trying to tell us?
And
Yeah,
texturism.
he said he want to know what that's good hair thing about. Yeah, it's so typical of black men to turn the discussion to hair in some way. In some way, somehow they're gonna mention hair.
Yeah.
It's
They
like
love
y'all are so
aesthetics.
feminine.
Well, his was fried, dyed, and laid to the side in that picture he had posted up on the thumbnail. So we understand why he feel that way. He passionate.
You know something. Well, and so I think that God, you all got me thrown off my train of thought. What I'm about to do right here is some hypnotherapeutic training, just telling him to calm down, right? And when you tell people to calm down, depending on how you say it, you can actually get people to calm down. You can get them to mirror your energy. And if you take the time to attempt to manipulate people, you will be able to see when people are attempting to manipulate you. And what he's doing right here in this part of the conversation is he's attempting, because he feels that the heat is on him. So he's attempting to shift into something, into a common, friend of my friend is my friend. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. So he wants to get into the good hair, bad hair topic because he knows that that's something that black men and black women both have in common. The coily hair and the despising that the hair has had through the ages. And so that's what he's attempting to do. He's attempting to get onto the same side and shift the conversation. And so here, let's jump back into it. I need you to calm down.
Black men as on a higher elevated status. So white men are going.
Julius, I need you to calm down, okay? All right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
need you to remember that we're all friends here. Nobody is trying to do anything to you. This is an opportunity for all of us to be able to really, but we have to take ego out of it. We have to take, I don't want to seem ignorant. We're all ignorant about something. And if there's anybody who tries to make you feel a certain way about being ignorant about a thing, just remember, nobody knows everything. I'm well versed in evolutionary psychology. Ask me anything about how we got to where it is that we are evolutionarily in terms of sex and mating practices. I can tell you that because that is my passion. Right? I don't know everything. I don't know about tobacco, nicotine. I don't know about child trafficking and all of these. I don't know about those things. So there's an opportunity, but you have to release ego and not knowing everything. Nobody knows everything. All right? So Cynthia's going to ask you some questions, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. However, let's start out the relationship on a good foot with you answering questions so that when the time comes for you to ask, that people will then speak openly and forthrightly. Is that okay?
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. Let's do it.
All right,
Tanya,
wonderful.
I message you. I like you a lot, Tanya.
And then so you all see his tone changes. One of the tactics that I employed in that exchange right there was showing that we have some commonality. I don't know everything, so it's okay if you don't know. This is what I know. And, just getting the guards down because somebody is saying they don't have the patience to speak, blah, blah, blah. My goal was to keep the conversation going. And I did what I needed to do to get this excellent piece of footage right here. And I implore some of you to dig down because people think that being raw is the strength. Sometimes being soft is the strength. And it took a lot of strength for me to conduct, this conversation the way that I did and to get it to go forward. So that's the example and strength. And I wish that more of us realize that there are different types of strength that we can employ, especially as women. Was there somebody on the panel who wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, but the problem is that you shouldn't have to coach a grown man into emotional control. Like this is a man who essentially he can't control his emotions. He keeps spazzing out and having emotional breakdowns, vomiting out confused nonsense. He doesn't know how to do that. So you have to walk him through multiple times. You have to walk this man through controlling his emotions. Yet another sign of weakness that a Black man is displaying. Yet they think that somebody's threatened by them. Somebody's threatened by him though, but he doesn't even have the emotional control to not be sitting on a panel whining over what a woman that he doesn't even know is saying. This is so weak. You shouldn't even have to do that, Tanya. That's a grown man.
Yeah, no, I shouldn't have to do that. I would love to pontificate in the audience and on the panel. What do you think would have happened if I met his energy with hollering and just being? What do you think would have happened in the interview at that moment?
I mean, I think it would have went left. I mean, naturally, we all know that. We saw how he was on the spectrum. So
something. I can't. Yeah,
his emotions couldn't handle your emotional maturity. It wouldn't have been able to. That's why you was able to. You kind of popped him around like a cat. You know how cats pop around mice, and it's just fun for them. It's really easy. That's what it seemed like to me. It was really easy for you to handle him. It was like a small child, honey.
Right. Yeah. But what does that say about Black men though? Like Look, I get that they say sometimes the expectations are too high, but at the end of the day, the expectation that you control your emotions during a conversation shouldn't be one of those expectations that's too high. The only thing we're doing is asking you questions, but it's too high of an expectation at this point to think a Black man is going to control his emotions and stop crying and whining and spazzing out.
Listen. My goal wasn't to re-raise him. My goal wasn't to have a long-term monogamous relationship with him. My goal wasn't to check him. My goal was not that. At that time, I had a powerhouse on the stage who I knew could break down the logic. My goal was to get him to continue talking and reveal that logic. I see someone in the comments named Sabrina who's like, period, sin, that's it. No. I am the one who allowed for this man to stay on to get us that amazing Emmett Till quote that is about to come up. So I will take my applause. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Let's continue, ladies. Let's continue. And no, you're right. We shouldn't have to coddle a grown man, but this is not an ongoing relationship. You know, this is not somebody that's in my personal life. This is a person that's on my stage who I am wanting to feel comfortable enough to really reveal what's going on in his heart and mind. So we're about to hear it. Come, ladies, let's go forward.
For real.
Oh, well, we like you too.
Thanks for being open, Julius, because I'm not trying to make you look a certain way. I'm just trying to understand, because we just established that white men determine social status in this country, right? And you acknowledge, when I was listening in, that a white woman's social status declines when she gets with a Black man, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if white
in her
men
social
are
class, to her white woman friends, yes, I would say yes.
Right, to overall white society, which white women will tell you that themselves. They're looked poorly upon. So how can a person who is looked poorly upon elevate the status of a group of men who have always been looked poorly upon? How can that happen?
Okay, if you're talking about a Black, and it's always looked poorly upon because it is poorly. Okay, you're talking about a Black man with no credit, who probably his credit probably got already messed up when he was young, who probably don't have the best
Julius, I'm not
opportunities.
talking about a specific type of Black man, because Julius, it doesn't matter what type of Black man it is. Once a white woman gets with any Black man, her value declines to the white community. So I'm just trying to ask you, how is it that a woman of low value can elevate a Black man's value when he already doesn't have any value in society at all? How can now the white woman, who's now her value's been stripped from her, how can she elevate yours, and who is she elevating your status to?
Now watch this. I got something for you right here, right now. Okay. Historically, now when I say the blue light in Hollywood, now what's the narrative for Black men in Hollywood starting since Hollywood began and they started making movies? He was the rapist. He was the monster. They had him drooling from his fucking mouth. Okay,
and
they had a white woman rather jump off a cliff.
Way.
Wait a minute. They had a white woman rather jump off a cliff than be raped by a Black man in the movie. Okay. So when you get your victim, when you get your victim now willingly laying down with you, what does that say about you? Maybe you're not a fucking animal. Maybe you're not a fucking savage that we depicted you in Hollywood.
Ooh. There's some gems he
I was
going
to say, this is around the time he got in his bag. He's going to tell us how he really feels. I was waiting for this part.
Yeah. So,
but look at how unstable he is. The spectrum.
Yeah, but let's talk about the mentality. So he's saying that if you can get the woman who used to be your victim to willingly lay down with you, you have accomplished something. What are your thoughts?
Well, he doesn't realize that, because essentially, basically, he's saying if he get washed in the blood of Becky, then he will be redeemed. This is what he thinks. And so
Yeah.
he thinks somebody's looking at him, and they're like, "Oh, look at that! Like, look at him with that throwback. He sure looks like a better person. He's not a predator. He's not a criminal. He's not destructive." No, they're not going to say that. They're going to say, "Oh, look at her. What's wrong with her? She must be rebelling. Something must be psychologically wrong with her. She must have daddy issues." So the only thing that he's doing is literally bringing her down to his level, but he somehow sees some kind of elevation in there. It's a problem.
Yeah. For him to so clearly express that, and I like that even after he said we're portrayed this way, he then spoke from his heart and said our victim, right? When our victim, when the woman who has always looked at contact with us as, diminishment of her character, opens up her legs to us, it's evidence that we are not monsters. It's evident that we are not beasts, right? That we are not predators, because through her vag, right? Through her vag, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the full word, that is where we find our humanity. That's what he's saying. We find our humanity through her vag. That is deep. And like I said, he falls all the way into like his psyche. He like digs in his bag and pulls out the crumbs and throws them at the ladies in this conversation. This is just the beginning of him reaching into the recesses of his soul. And I like how he says it with passion. He puts like some energy behind that. Like, how dare you question this? Yes, I find my humanity and my civilization in the the vag of a white woman. I mean, that energy, that's why I said earlier, Tanya, you were asking, like, do you think this really came from him? Because he's saying he was just, pontificating about what the next dude may think. Nah, brother, you didn't pull that energy about finding your humanity in a white woman's vag, finding your civility in a white woman's vag. You didn't pull that out of the air. That came from deep down in your person, deep down in your psyche.
Yeah, he did say that with his chest. He really did. Well, I'm going to play that part again so that we can hear the passion and conviction, because that didn't sound like, because when I don't know how another person thinks, I can't come with that type of fire with the thoughts, and let her rip like that. So here we go. Let's continue.
Of low value can elevate a black man's value when he already doesn't have any value in society at all. How can now the white woman, who's now her value's been stripped from her, how can she elevate yours, and who is she elevating your status to?
Now watch this. I got something for you right here, right now. Okay. Historically, now when I say the blue in Hollywood, now what's the narrative for black men in Hollywood starting since Hollywood began and they started making movies? He was the rapist. He was the monster. They had him drooling from his fucking mouth. Okay,
and
they had a white woman rather jump off a cliff.
Wait
a minute. They had a white woman rather jump off a cliff than be raped by a black man in the movie. Okay. So when you get,
I just want to pause it on this part right here, because he said that with so much passion. So basically the mentality is, they thought we were beasts before. They would rather jump off a cliff and die than for us to assault them. But now they give themselves to us willingly. Let's go forward.
Hey, Tanya.
Yes,
Can I
ma'am.
say something really
Of
quick
course.
before we move in? Okay, so, oh my God, because I've been crying, laughing at all the commentary. I'm trying to be serious, y'all, because I know that Tanya is being really serious about this and breaking it down. But I have tears in my eyes right now. I really feel like the Tyrone spectrum has a lot to do with some mammy somewhere had them chewing on lead chips for snacks. Because what he just said makes absolutely no sense at all. At all. He really presents the argument for us. Everything he says, he goes against what he says. It's as if he's against interracial dating, but he's also talking about how they would rather jump off a bridge before they have sex with. Ooh, I'm losing brain cells. Okay.
I mean, but it makes some sense to me. I mean, if you think about, but you have to remember, it's trash bag logic. It's not regular logic. There's a particular type of mentality that would feel this way. We're not talking about, I mean, we're talking about extreme internalized self-hatred. This is what we're talking about, self-hatred from deep within your in your psyche, so deep that you don't even know that it's there. That you are really looking to be redeemed, that she doesn't think of you as I would rather be dead than have intercourse with you. Now you're worthy enough. Let's continue forward because I believe he even says that. Let's continue.
When you get your victim, when you get your victim now willingly laying down with you, what does that say about you? Maybe you're not a fucking animal. Maybe you're not a fucking savage that we depicted you in Hollywood.
To who?
So yes, your
I
social,
see.
economic status will
Very
go
good.
up.
To who, Julius? Julius, to who? Who
To
sees
those who
black
are
men
afraid
differently?
of a black
Who?
man and a black family, which is a
You,
good
you
majority,
think
I would say.
so let me ask you this. You think the low status having white woman, she can remove all those stereotypes from the low status black man? You think that because he's with this white woman, she is of low status, but she's removing all these stigmas from black men?
Exactly. Now you got to look at it like this. She's already
No,
kicked out of her
Julius,
Wait, let him
bestiality.
answer
Judge
because
has
I
already
want to
kicked
I
her
want to
out.
hear
Julius,
his
The white
not
man
answer.
don't want
exactly.
her. The white man doesn't want her. So the drug dealing black nigga that got this money gonna get this white woman. Because you want to know why? She can talk to people. You want to know why? Because she got these motherfuckers in the hood.
Oh my
You know what I'm saying?
God.
And she got to, come on now. Don't play with me.
All right, thoughts, ladies? Come on, come with it now because the logic is coming out. Come on, ladies, what are your thoughts? The white man doesn't want her, but this drug dealer can get her. Drug dealing N-word.
But we know what that white woman looks like, right? That the drug dealer can get. She's thin-lipped. She's flat-backed. She's a little chubby. She has thinning hair that looks like a cat's been licking on it. So slightly greasy.
Oh my gosh.
You know.
The visual.
I mean, is that not her? I mean, she has the little short bob cut. She has a biracial son named Jalen. I mean, we can go on and on and on about who this woman is. You know, it's mayonnaise. It's an extreme sense of mayonnaise. And they seem to be highly attracted to mayonnaise. So while he's talking about Julius, why would you even bring up a drug dealer as it represents black men marrying white women when there are so many athletes that marry white women? Most athletes.
Angela, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
In his redemption through white vag scenario, the lowest, most brute, most animalistic, most uncivilized black man can find redemption through the vag of a white woman. So it makes sense, trying to tap into Tanya's way of understanding this. It makes sense that his example would be what he views as the lowest of black men, saying even that man, right, recognizes that he can find redemption for his degraded state through the vag of a white woman. He's already told us the power of redemption in white vag. So yeah, it actually makes sense to me. The lowliest, most rejected black man at the bottom of the totem pole, the Pookie even understands, right? Is what he's saying. that the vag of a white woman is where you find your purification.
Yeah, because if she will choose me, then I must be all right. If a white woman would choose me, then I must be worthy enough. And that goes into the psychology of lack of worth, the worthlessness that a person must feel, that just a person having a lack of melanin, nothing about their character, nothing about their spirit or spirituality. Sin said bathed in the blood of Becky, but that is so correct. It's like she's a deity just because she has a lack of melanin. And so if a person with a lack of melanin would choose me, then I must be okay. I must not be a beast. This is really sad, ladies. Honestly, this is sad. All right, let's just go back a few.
Yeah, he said, "Don't play with me," though. Like he was like, "Don't play with me. I'm about to drop this knowledge."
Yeah,
that's what got me. He was like, "Don't play with me." So I mean,
yeah, that's how it is. He's about to drop it. Yeah, let's hear where everyone to.
Black nigga that got this money gonna get this white.
Okay, let's just go back a little bit because I feel like we need to let that rest on our spirit just a little bit, because it's like, here we go.
That because he's with this white woman, she is of low status, but she's removing all these stigmas from Black men.
Exactly. Now you got to look at it like this. She's already kicked out of her.
Wait, let him answer, because I want to hear his answer.
Want her. The white man doesn't want her. So the drug dealing black nigga that got this money gonna get this white woman. Because you want to know why? She can talk to people. You want to know why?
So basically what he's saying is, like Cynthia's series, the buffalo that falls from the pack, the runt of the runt of the litter, the ones that the white man doesn't want, we can get her. Listen to that. You all are peeping that, right?
Because she got these motherfuckers in the hood, you know what I'm saying? And she got come on now, don't play with me.
Right, but
so that,
but
yeah,
you're
within
saying
his social-economic status, he upgrades. Within his social-economic status, he
upgrades. So hold on, everyone. Hold on.
Black basketball player
Listen.
who's making millions upgrade because he's allowed in different rooms now. Yes, they upgrade.
So he just said that he talked about the black NBA players, the sports stars getting with a white woman, that they upgrade because now they're allowed into certain rooms. Ladies, this is gold right here. I need to hear something from you all. Woman's Fear, Irene, Cynthia.
Okay, I think some of the ladies are probably doing something, cooking or something.
I'm getting out the shower, but look at what the upgrade is, though, because he keeps saying the black man upgraded, the black man upgrade, and when he talks about what the upgrade is, it's literally being in the room with white men. Literally, this is the upgrade. The upgrade is that he gets to go into spaces with white men. Now, he doesn't unbecome the most unemployed group of men. His those stereotypes don't go away. Mass incarceration don't go away. Those aren't the upgrades. You know, the wealth gap closing isn't the upgrade that black men are getting. The upgrade is standing next to white men, essentially. And so when I say that the goal of the black man is to be in proximity to the white man, that's essentially what this dude just said. He said, oh, once that athlete gets a white woman, he gets to go in different rooms with rich white men. They just want to be next to white men at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that, in his mind, and this is nothing different than when 50 Cent and the one that looks like he has a disease were talking about, like, you can't get that every day. This is not something, that's not something you can get every day, when they were elevating why they pick non-Black women. And he's not saying anything different. He's just being even more forthcoming. which is essentially you're accomplishing something you couldn't accomplish. I think, Nick Cannon said something similar. We hear this um, in male spaces all the time, and sadly, some female spaces. This idea that when a white person accepts you, it's not to their benefit, but it's to your benefit. That's really what he's saying is, I don't benefit her, but she is the holy grail for me. She's the one that's going to change my whole existence. She's the one that can make my life better. She's the one that can get me in the doors I need to get in. Like, no matter if she's at the bottom of the white totem pole, if she loses her social status, it'll still be better than mine. Therefore, I benefit by attaching myself to her. The low self-esteem of it all, the debasement of his own blackness is the problem for me.
And
I
guess,
just,
and Irene, guess what's on the other side of the door to the room? White men. So ultimately, this is what they want: white men. They want to get white men. That's all they want. If white men would say black men, okay, we accept you. You're in our club. You can, mingle around us. You're on equal footing. They would be fine, regardless to what's happening to the community. That's all that they want, is for white men to give them the recognition that they think they deserve. It's really homoerotic.
This is sad. This is really sad, because it doesn't matter how much money he has and brings to the table, how many resources he has and brings to the table. It doesn't really matter. Her whiteness has the value that she brings to the table, because he feels that just having any white woman. But you know what? I will say this, right? When in 2016, when I was living in my car, I was on this, I spent a night on this trailer park, but on this trailer park, because they allowed camping over there, and I felt that it would be safe because they had RVs, they had trailers. I thought it would be safe, right? But these mofos pulling out guns, drinking beer, getting looted and zooted up in the middle of the night, hollering and all of that. But thank goodness I sleep tough. But nonetheless, I realized when talking to some people that, so basically what I saw on this park area is that there were a lot of white people who, like, I saw this woman, no teeth, sunken in skin, looked like she smoked cigarettes, leathery face, and all of that, right? And she went into her trailer and pulled out this baby. And this baby that she pulled out was perfect. Like, she had no teeth, but looking at this little cherub, this little pink cheek cherub this little fat baby that she held up, I realized that when it comes to whiteness, right? That you can be born on a trailer park. Your mother could be a meth addict with no teeth and leathery face and a sunken in ass that looked like, one of them couch pillows stuffed into pants, right? But those babies come out looking like any other white person. You wash them off, put some little bows in their hair, and send them up to the big city, and no one would be the wiser. No one will know that they came from a trailer park. And that is the redeeming factor of whiteness in this country. Whiteness is your past. And so for Black men, I guess they feel they can get any white woman, dust her off, blow the leaves out of her hair, clean up the smeared eyeliner, and she is renewed. That whiteness gives the air of purity to her. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I feel like Methiana is definitely came through with the clutch for Black men, because listen, Black men, this is a message to you, because I know y'all cloud watching, y'all be scared to come in this chat. But listen here. Y'all know it's no second best for us. Y'all just settle for what y'all settle for, because it's a high standard met by Black women. I think I think Black people in general have a high standard, and it's the reason why we go so hard at each other. It's really primarily the reason, and I don't think that a lot of people associate it with that, but we go hard at each other because we have been taught through heritage and lineage to have high standards. We've been a little bit more nicer than what we should be throughout history when it comes to gaining control of economic status and social status. We've been a little bit too lenient because we're naturally just a little bit more nicer. We aren't as vicious. But I think that I'm telling you right now, Methiana is the Black man's natural counterpart. She's just as, whiny, complaining. She's always crying about something. Her tears are cherished. Her tears will get you, which is why we're going to get to what we need to get to on this video, because we know what happens with the white woman's tears. We know what happens with her mayonnaise. We know what happens with her lost teeth and her inability to control her emotions. We know what happens with all of that. We know what comes from that. It affects everybody. Anybody of color, it affects. So we know what happens. So really, it's just funny to me to listen to Black men doing stuff like this and praising white women, because Black women are all knowing. We are all knowing. We are extremely intuitive and intentional. So we just get to sit back and watch them go out and pay their stupid tax. Yeah. We get to go out and watch them pay their stupid tax. We get to go out and watch them pay their taxes to the white woman, to Methiana, to Mayo, over and over and over and over. And all Black women do, we sit up, we cross our arms, and we like, look at this fool. Look at him. Look at him. He really think he got something going on. All right, well, we just gonna have to watch him pay a stupid tax, and we don't know where it's gonna lead. You may end up with a foot on your neck, or you may end up with the police showing up at your door, arresting you for something that probably did not happen. We don't know what's gonna happen, but we do always get our victory. We always get our justice card every single time. Black women are not ever going to not get their justice card. And I keep telling Black men that you aren't ever going to see us lose. That's not going to happen for you, sir. You are going to be in a repetitive state of paying spiritual debt to Black women. You just are, because you don't listen, and we're your spiritual guides. And since you don't understand that, we get to sit back and watch you pay your stupid tax, just like we watching Julius right now and having fun, because this is fun for me. Yeah. I'm enjoying myself.
I'm gonna just say this one sentence and then you go ahead. Women's Sphere. I'm not Women's Sphere, Irene. I honestly, I did not know, because I'm from New York City. I'm not from the country and all of that other stuff. I'm from New York City. So the white people that I have seen growing up have all been wealthy. I did not know until I went to that trailer park. Like, I've heard Eminem talk about, trailer trash or whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But I did not know until I spent the night on that park that there were white people who were in extreme bouts of poverty, who were these walking stereotypes. And I didn't know that. I'd never seen it until I went there and I saw Meth Mouth Mama and Perfect Little Cherub Babies. And I got a greater sense for the currency of whiteness.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the dusting her off thing, because, what is it? Robert Smith, one of the 15 Black billionaires on the planet, because there's only like 15 of them, right? One of the 15 Black billionaires on the planet. Who did he choose for a wife? He chose a former Playboy bunny who had opened her legs, spread eagle, slept with countless celebrities. It let Hugh Hefner's, former girlfriend tell it, you could not make the spread unless you slept with him. So we know there might have been some engagement in that, and has had her badge spread eagle to the world. And he dusted her off, and she was able to marry a billionaire because of her whiteness. And what's interesting is so many Black men point out the fact that he didn't have a fat, white woman. He got, a dime piece. He got a good white woman. But these same men will criticize Black, and now y'all know I'm not for Black women twerking all over the place like they've lost their minds. However, if you're going to say that that woman is a dime who literally was butt naked, legs cocked open on a magazine spread, right? Then why would you then put down the Black woman who's twerking fully clothed at a party, right? So she's a problem, or twerking at the restaurant. She's a problem, but the white woman that was dusted off and was good enough to marry a millionaire, despite having literally whored her body out to the world, that white woman was good enough to marry a whole billionaire, one of the 15 richest Black men on the planet. I mean, so I think there's a lot of credence to what you're saying about the currency of whiteness. What's interesting to me, though, is that he recognizes this, but the mentality is not to elevate Blackness. So this imbalance of currency in our skin color doesn't exist. The solution in his mind is to access white vag, so that you don't change the imbalance, or like Sin was saying, improve in any areas that make sense, like, oppression or the wealth gap or anything that makes sense, police brutality, anything that makes sense. You don't seek improvements there. You just seek access to the culture of imbalance. You just seek to be that much closer to those who are your superiors. And ultimately, the superior isn't the white woman. Just like Sin pointed out, the superior is the white man, and her being able to position you closer to her man. I think that is just interesting. I think you're 100% right about the dusting off, because we've seen this happen. And not just with Black men. I mean, we saw it happen with Trump too, who was like a gutter trash white person, just him dusting off the nearest, naked magazine woman and making a wife out of her. So yeah, there is a currency to that. A Black woman can never move those ways. They condemn us if we show some cleavage, we're horse. So we could never actually, we could never be pulled out of a trailer park somewhere and dusted off and be considered to be okay.
And that's what I was going to say, because Black men, they will sit up there and they'll constantly say, oh, Black women, they've bought more into white supremacy. Black women subscribe so much to the white beauty standard. They will literally sit there and say Black women love and submit to and worship white men. This is what Black men will say. Yet they will sit up like this dude did and talk about how being with white women look better. They'll sit up here and talk about how white women are an upgrade. They'll sit here and talk about how white women are more socially acceptable than Black women, and how this white woman is his key to being in proximity to white men. So they don't even see the worship of white men in their own actions. Like, they're literally saying, even if I have to take the lowest that comes from his women, she is enough. She's my key to redemption in the eyes of white men. Because this is what he ultimately wanted. He wants to be in rooms with white men. He wants to go to parties with rich white men. He wants this acceptance, and for white men to not see him as all of those stereotypes that was depicted in the media that he's complaining about. That is the ultimate goal here. And that's no different than when you heard Quincy Jones and talking about how being able to be with white women was freedom and liberation. So you see the similarities in the old mentality and how they view white women, and still up to here in 2021, they still view her as the upgrade and essentially the key to liberation.
Yeah, and you know the crazy. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you, all of you ladies. We're gonna need to reset the broadcast and have you all introduce yourselves again, and we're gonna read some Cash Apples in a moment. So the link to the Cash App is in the description if you want to have your message read on air. We're gonna be reading that in a little while. I wanted to point out that one of the things that Black men seem to say that they value so much about white women is that they're so hard to get, that they're not easy to get, that they have to work hard to be accepted by them. Like they really, 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 truly seem to want to jump through all of these hoops and come with all of this money and resumes in order to be able to be accepted into a white girl's family, right? So they know they have to come correct with all of these things. And he doesn't really understand that he's trying to ingratiate himself into another man's patriarchy, that he is coveting the woman with the phenotype of his oppressor. And he's not realizing that the true way to freedom is to covet the women who look like you, who produce offspring who look like you, who can create your phenotype, and that the key to redemption, the key to upliftment is to really posit yourself and your woman as the standard of beauty. But they just don't get like, what is the end goal? Because if you think about it, right, like someone in the comments was talking about that coach who was like, I'm really proud that my wife is white, blah, blah, blah. And like Irene was saying, they're not doing this to gain any real type of social momentum. It's just the superficial, let me get into the room with the white man. Let me be able to be an audience to the white man in all of his white male glory, that I will get this white woman, dust her off, clean her off, put some lipstick on her and bring her into this room. And even taking from Sin's quote, bottom shelf Becky, even taking a bottom shelf Becky to get her into the room and then, maybe hoping that he can upgrade or whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But like Woman's Fear says, knowing deep inside of his heart that the Black woman is the original blueprint of beauty and regality and majesticness, right? And so I wonder, what is the end goal? So you get into the room, then what? The end goal seems to be the erasure of his culture, the erasure of his Blackness, to get away from anything Black, to move to a different neighborhood, to get away from Black people, to forget about knees on necks. Because this mother effer Alphonse Ribeiro talking about his white, the Black community is so angry with him. What has Alphonse Ribeiro done for the Black community since he's been with his white wife? What has he done to make himself relevant to us? Honestly, since he was I don't know how old he was in The Fresh Prince, but what has he done? When these Black men had knees on their necks or couldn't breathe, and was he on the front line? Did he use his Becky and her resources to be able to get any type of legislation passed? Did he use any of that to get to rock the vote and get people out to vote so that we could vote for sheriffs? If you think about all of the money, and this is why the Black women empowerment movement beefing on YouTube is so frustrating to me. Oh my Lord. Why it's so frustrating to me is because we have so much that we need to do and focus on, but we are so busy with nonsensical stuff. So it's like when we need these laws passed and when we need these things done, who's doing them? It's like they're depending on Black women to do this while they're laying up outside and removed from the community. It's really ridiculous. Like, what is all that white social currency getting them? Like, we have all of these elders in the community who, we have all of these elders in the Black community who have been making millions for decades. They've gone and ingratiated themselves into quote unquote white society. And what has happened since then? Where is the school of the arts for Black people? Where's the mortgage lending companies and the Black banks that allow, like I'm in New York. I remember when I took the bus from the Bronx into Queens, and somewhere along the line, all of the letters turned into Korean letters. They had banks and lending institutions and all this stuff in their area. But with all of the millionaires that we have had in the Black community who have aligned themselves and gotten their foot in the door, like I could understand if they were like, okay, look, we got our foot in the door. Now this is what we're going to do. But they got their foot in the door and closed it behind them. They didn't do anything. They just wanted to be in the room with white men. They wanted to be able to have their biracial babies. And for what? Somebody on the panel, please help me understand, all for what?
All they want is the approval of their zaddy. That's all Black men want. And that's what I'm saying. He doesn't understand how much that speaks to his mindset and his level of weakness. He's literally sniffing the nutsack of another man. That is the ultimate upgrade. And so, like, are we calling this an Oedipus complex? What are we calling this? This obsession that Black men have with getting white men to like them. They said that they don't deal with you like that. They've shown you that they don't deal with you like that. What part of that do you not understand? You're acting like a clingy ex-girlfriend that they're trying to break up with. He's been told you the only thing he's willing to let you be is like every once in a while when he wants to run your little booty hole or you make some money for him. That's how he wants to deal with you. Other than that, he don't really deal with you like that. But you keep on running and chasing after the approval of this white man. It don't even make any sense. Like, again, trying to get a pat on the head from daddy. That's what they're trying to do.
Right, but for what? What is the end goal? So you get the pat on the head, then what? You still walk outside, you still go drive in your Mercedes. How many wealthy football players do we need to hear about getting yoked out of their Mercedes and fancy cars, yoked and placed face down on the concrete? How many with Irene's word, how much white vag does it take to get to the center of a black man's whiteness? How much white vag does he need to dive into to make him an official honorary white man? Nobody knows?
You know, I just have to be honest and say that the idea of choosing a partner who's non-Black, whether you're a man or a woman, is not the problem in my eyes. But the problem is that he is making this commentary to juxtapose it as to why his comment, that derogatory comment where he directed the Nigger word at a Black woman and the man that she was with, he's making all this commentary to juxtapose it against that, to justify that action. And when he goes on to talking about why it's different for a Black man to do it versus for a Black woman to do it, it has nothing to do with the character of the person. It has nothing to do with meeting a great individual that you love. It has nothing to do with anything about humanity or love or romance or caring for a person. It has to do with literally skin color, literally the elevation of Black men through engagement with women who are white, purely based on their whiteness, no other quality whatsoever. He even went as far as to say the bottom of the barrel, the degraded and outcast, the unwanted white woman of white society. Why wouldn't somebody pick her up and take her and elevate himself through her? Right. Yeah. And so I just think that, like, that for me is the problem, that mentality of Blackness being elevated by whiteness, and Black men. And you guys know I'm very traditional about social hierarchy. When men are in control of everything and men are the ultimate representatives of our community, not the women, not the children, then the idea that the elevation of Blackness is done through the vag of a white woman and that these relationships are not based on caring or love or respect or meeting a great person who happens to be white, but they're based on literally accessing the elevation of yourself. What did he say? You could, they showed us with drool coming out our mouths and people, jumping off of cliffs, these white women jumping off of cliffs just to get away from us. And through her vag, right? Through her opening her legs to me, I can cast off the drooly, savage Black man and I can elevate. I think when that is the basis for why interracial dating is okay for Black men, and we haven't gotten to the part where he juxtaposes it and how it's different from Black women interracially dating. That for me is where I really just have a problem, because I can't wait until we dig deeper into
All right, so then let's go forward then. Let's go
that
forward.
Juxtaposition that for me, that's crazy.
Yeah, let me read the apples real quick. Here we go. All right. Oh, where's my thing? That's so weird. All of this time, where's my thing? I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I don't know why it's not here. Oh, it must be below. Give me 1 second. Oh, my Lord. This is not the right thing. Give me 1 second. I got to pull the thing up. It's not. Okay, it's not here. I'll have to come back to it. That's so weird. That's so weird. It was here, but it's no longer. I think it may have disconnected. All right, so let me get back to, all right, sorry. We'll come back to the apples. I'm so sorry. I have to reconnect it. So let's get back to the broadcast. Here we go. So hold on. So I just want to let you ladies know that I just sent you all the part 2 link, because this is going to end in a few moments. It's going to end in 6 minutes. So in 6 minutes, this backstage is going to end, but I sent you a link to the new one. But I think I understand what he's saying. I think he's saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, Julius, I think he's saying that Black men started out with their status so low, being seen as rapists and murderers, and that I guess in like maybe some movie Birth of a Nation, a white woman jumped off a cliff because she didn't want to be assaulted. And so now she's with him willingly, and that raises his status because now she's willingly taking this person who was seen as less than an animal and choosing to be with him. So with the glory of her whiteness and her white privilege and white power, she has now elevated him by showing that he's worthy enough to be with a white woman. Is that correct?
Yes, they're no longer condemning them to death.
But here's the thing: that is in Black men's mind. No, that's not reality, Julius.
Oh, no, you say that shit about Emmett Till. That's my You say that shit to Emmett Till. You can't.
Julius,
you can't say that shit to Emmett Till, man. Don't play with that shit, man.
Hold on, Julius. Okay, ladies, we reached the part. Ladies.
This is what I'm saying, though. Look, no emotional impulse control whatsoever. Going from 0 to 10, like it's like you're looking at a child and trying to get a child to understand something, and then they throw a random tantrum. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
A grown man cannot sit up here and have a conversation without screaming out Emmett Till randomly.
Yeah.
I think that we do know that Black men are, that's why I said Black men are going to black you to your early grave. They are going to be like, listen, this is what I deal with because I'm Black. You did know that I was Black, right? Hey, you need that? Oh, I'm Black. Oh, what's going on? I'm Black. They're going to black you to black you to black you. They're going to remind you that they're Black. And this is why I say that Black women are the true pro-Blacks, because we are the ones that uphold the communities. Black men aren't doing that. They're running away from their communities, and they really hate their Blackness. If you see how he talked about Emmett Till, you can just tell that he was looking for victimization from us. He didn't expect for us to laugh. He didn't expect for us to kiki. He didn't expect for us to not feel any sympathy for him, because he's used to dealing with Black women that once he mentions Emmett Till, they're going to back away and not continue the conversation. And this is why Black men have not been held accountable for their lack of Blackness, because Black men are the ones who have a lack of Blackness. It isn't Black women. We are the true pro-Blacks, because we are the ones that uphold everything. We are the ones that maintain it. We just are. So it's not them. If you listen to Black men talking about being Black, what are they doing? They're complaining. They're complaining about everything there is to be Black. They hate everything. And when you sit and listen to so-called pro-Blacks or whatever, that's all you hear them doing is complaining about what happened to them, how it went wrong, everything wasn't right. Oh, I'm a Black man and this is this and this is that. Oh my God. But when you hear Black women talking about being Black, we have a very beautiful rendition of how we describe being Black.
Angela, you gotta let them have their Black male suffrage movement.
Their blickety Black moment. Yes.
Black male suffrage.
Right. They're gonna Black you to death. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna Black you to death. You can't, if you in a relationship with a Black man that hides behind his Blackness, it's like white women hiding behind their whiteness. If you in a relationship with a Black man hiding behind his Blackness, he is going to Black you to death. Every single incident is going to be because he's Black. They are the only ones that can still complain about being Black. Black women aren't doing that. We fine being Black. We love our melanin. We are great. It's y'all.
You know what? That is so interesting. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. I actually was thinking about what you were saying as you were saying it, and you're right. It's Black women who are going to the grave childless and suffering alone because they want a Black man so that they can continue on the Black race and have Black children. But Black men do, when you do hear them speaking about Blackness, there is an area of Blackness that they do seem to have a lot of pride for. I'm not talking about their penis, their things. I'm talking about Egypt. They seem to be very proud about trying to, bring up Egypt and saying that that's where we're originally from. We made the pyramids and stuff. So I do hear them talking about the pride of that. Also, the pride of their phallus in terms of being Black.
They picked the most non-Black looking part of Africa.
Yeah.
Found pride of that. I'm done. I'm done. I mean, yeah. But you're right. They do take a lot of pride in Egypt. But you know what? Back to when you were saying, like, I'm trying to understand, like, from his logic. And I've been trying to do that ever since you said it. And I understand why he brought up Emmett Till.
Oh, enlighten us.
It seems, yeah, I was sitting here thinking, it seems random, but y'all, it's not random if you follow his logic. Okay. Because right before so for anybody that thought we were misinterpreting what he said, I forgot that, and you just played it, that you reiterated. So you are saying through her white glory, I think you even used the words white glory, right? Mm-hmm. That she is elevating you by accepting you. And he said, exactly. He said, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying we're redeemed through the vag, right? Through the white vag. And then Cynthia challenged it and was like, what do you mean? How could that be so? And he said, Emmett Till, like he was saying, Emmett Till proves his point. How does Emmett Till prove his point by redemption through white vag? Because when we think of that little boy, because this was a child, right? Mm-hmm. The reason that he was violated and murdered was because he was accused of offending, right, a white woman by lusting after her. And because he was thought to have been offending her, meaning that woman did not open the vag and accept him, right, he was then killed. So I think in his kind of twisted logic, Emmett Till's death is an example of what the rejection, right, and the closed legs of a white woman can do. But once they open their legs, back to what he said when you are like, is this what you mean? The glory of a white woman, right? In her glory, she can elevate you. And he was like, absolutely. Exactly. Right. I think he was saying, juxtapose that with if they open their legs, if they accept us in their white glory, as you put it, then that would have never happened. Right? Had she just accepted him, had she just opened her legs to him, had she just said, yes, I want that little black boy, then that young man wouldn't have gotten killed. I think that was his logic when he blurted out Emmett Till, but he was so, remember, because he was in his bag, we're breaking it up, but he was like, check it out. I'm gonna tell you something. So I think he was in his bag. And when Cynthia challenged it, he was like, I have evidence, historical evidence of, the difference between a white woman accepting you and not accepting you, humanizing or dehumanizing you. I really think that that's what he meant. I don't know. Y'all tell me if I'm crazy, but I think that was his logic.
So Emmett would have been redeemed
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, so he would have been redeemed had she just looked at him like in the movies how they always have some super white looking woman to play an angel, so that she was so that if this angel bestowed her favor upon him, it would be in that angelic glow of her whiteness that he could have skipped and hopped out of that store and lived his life as a happy boy, knowing that he's found appealing. So it's about sexual access. It's about being deemed worthy and good enough for white women. So they consider them to be the most hard to get women in society.
She'd just be like, this Negro is okay, and then they would have never heard him. Right?
Right. She
I
gave
don't
him.
think.
That social
I think
upgrade.
we're giving a little baby Juju a little bit too much credit. Okay. I think that Irene can think that deep because it's Irene. But baby Juju, no, baby Juju ain't going that deep.
I think he's just emotionally unstable. And maybe if he was going to say something to that effect, because he can't control his feelings, we would have never knew if he even had that capacity. Black men, like, literally, they stay in their emotions. Like, I don't get it. You're always ready to just burst. It's so weird. It's like,
it's
y'all
funny.
need to calm
funny
down.
At this point. It's hilarious, but
it's funny to me.
But I don't.
Yeah,
think
but you know what, Irene? I'm sorry.
Irene.
No, I don't think we can discount what's going on inside of the trash bag. It's like you look at it and it's a Glad bag. You don't know what's inside, but once you crack it open, there are a lot of things in there, and we are putting together the puzzle pieces. Even if he doesn't know.
Dying laughing. I'm literally over here like dying. Like,
she said, what's going on inside the trash bag? She's like, we can't just look at the trash bags. We must open it and sift through the trash to truly understand why he's carrying the bags.
I'm just dying because they are so emotionally unstable. Like, I don't get it together.
Yeah, well, and so the thing is, and I'm happy that we were able to have this conversation because it reveals so much. And I think that one of the good things that your channel has done for me, Cynthia, is your channel has helped me articulate some of the things that I didn't really know how to put into words, in different arguments on the internet. And I'm hoping that this broadcast can serve as sentences and catchphrases that Black women can use around the internet when people are presenting them with trash bag logic, so that they can be like, aha, yes, this is what that was. So this is basically you trying to be bathed in the blood of Becky. You know what I'm saying? Or what would Methiana? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel that these conversations are so needed. And I do think that there is a depth to Julius's rationale, even if he doesn't see that depth. And I think that it's important for Black men to really kind of dig inside of themselves, because it's not until you bring this stuff to the air, it's not until you do that you're really able to see the flaw in your own logic. Like, really, what is it really getting them? What is it really getting them at the end of the day? So you get to lay up with a bottom shelf Becky. Now what? Where has that gotten you truly on the social ladder in terms of the hierarchy? Where has it gotten you? What has it really done? Where's the true currency that you've gained from it? As we see time and time again, where's Kanye now? He's on some ranch somewhere with black men flying out to make sure that he's not going to take his thing. I can't say, but you know.
I'm happy somebody mentioned that in the chat. But I really believe that talking about him being in the bathed in the blood of Becky and her 3 Walmart bags, because we know that more than likely when we see, you know, frail figured, you know, black men, you know, very similar to Baby Juju, and we see them in Walmart with overweight, thin-lipped, flat-backed Methianas with their 3 Walmart bags. So I'm happy somebody brought that up in the chat, because the 3 Walmart bag theory is very prevalent too when it comes to who they choose. Like Cynthia says all the time, it's 3 Walmart bag Beckys, Methianas. That's who they choose. That's why we always see them there. That's why when we go into Walmart as Black women, we got to have tunnel vision where we're looking, because if we even look over or glance at them, they think we're jealous of them. Then we have the 3 trash bag. I mean, you know, the 3 Walmart bag Methiana, you know, giving us the stank eye, and you know, we just ain't going for that. So I do believe Baby Juju is the type that dates 3 Walmart bag Methianas. I definitely believe that.
Now that I've been in Walmart.
You girl, they be driving them little cars around really and everything. Girl, they be embarrassing, child. Ooh, and it's always some frail,
skinny black guy
little...
with a fat white lady. The last time I saw one, they were shopping for shower curtains.
It's always some frail little thin Baby Juju there, right, with his little 3 Walmart bag Methiana. So we know where to find them at.
All right, we're going to read the apples, and then we're going to reset the room. So here we go. All right. So, oh my Lord, not this again. I don't believe this. Something is going on. This is not right. I fixed the thing and it's still not behaving right. Let's see. All right, I found one. So here. All right, so here we go. So Peterson Morley sends $5 and says, you missed something important. 2ST, Black social status and white social status. So I think Peterson is saying, thank you, Peterson, for that. I think Peterson is saying that when we were talking about Black status goes up, but white status goes down. So they really, 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 truly have internalized the self-hatred into being okay with a person. Like, how would you feel about dating a person that you feel that their status goes down by being with you? Like, really, truly, how would that make you feel? If you go into that going in, Irene, how would that make you feel?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, though.
Oh, no, because being a beautiful woman, men's status goes up when they're with me, so I can't relate.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who would go into it?
I guess women don't have that problem because men normally pick women, and that's what he's kind of saying,